Well, first week of van life was rough.
Do you understand France?
Somebody tried to break in while we were sleeping.
Looking at a sky so clear, so much to discover here. Setting out on my own, all the places I can go. It's a long, 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 long and winding road. All these answers left to find, many mountains left to climb. And though there's valleys down below, I got so much room to grow. It's a long, 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 long and winding road.
The Bellini into the Patini.
Ow! A couple nights ago, my sister and I stayed in a pretty sketchy spot overnight. We decided that we wanted to stay somewhere different, and a couple of months back, before I bought the van, I called the Bureau of Land Management office just to find out where BLM land was in the area, because at the time I had been planning to stay there for a while, so I wanted to know what to expect and where to park overnight. So I hopped on that app. I just picked a random area. We didn't read reviews on it. We just knew that it was free to stay there overnight. It was public land and we weren't going to get a knock on the door from a cop. So we go to the spot. Everything's great. We're making dinner in the van, and around 10 p.m. we hear a knock on the van. And I see a flashlight from the front window, so I figure it's just a cop. You know, maybe I wasn't supposed to stay there overnight and he was just going to tell me to move, which would have been fine. I would have happily done that. So I answered the door, and it wasn't a cop. It was a couple. It was a man and a woman, and the woman was a little bit younger, the man was a little bit older, and they looked kind of weathered, like they had been on the road for a while. I didn't see another vehicle anywhere within eyeshot, so it looked like they had been on foot. And they said that their truck had gotten stuck a few miles back, and they were wondering if my sister and I could help them with that. I told them that we couldn't help them. I didn't have any rope or a jack, and I couldn't really help anybody in that scenario. So I apologized, and we went our separate ways. My sister and I continued to make dinner in the van, and they walked away. So as we're making dinner, about an hour later, there's another knock on the van. And I didn't feel comfortable answering the door this time because I had already told these people that I couldn't help them. And it was the same woman who was with the man a couple of hours ago knocking on the door again. So I wasn't going to answer it. I was just going to ignore it. And I was thinking in my gut that maybe we should stay somewhere else for the night because the situation was just getting a little bit too sketchy. I felt like now that the couple had known that it was just my sister and I in the van, we were alone on the public land. There was no other vans in sight, no other RVs, no campers, no other people, that we were in a vulnerable position. So I felt uncomfortable about that and really just wanted to get out of there. but it was really dark out, and to get into the public land, it was a forested area and the road was pretty rough, lots of bumps and divots, so I did want to wait till it was a little bit lighter out so that I could see the road better. So we decided to sleep for a little bit longer and wait it out. We hear another knock on the van. It's the same woman who's asking if she can borrow one of our cell phones. Luckily, it was around like 5 a.m. and the sun was starting to come up. We just got out of there pretty quickly. Lauren hopped in the driver's seat and I just secured things in the back, and we got out of that area as fast as we could. It was a nerve-wracking night and I didn't get much sleep, but what was even crazier was the next day when my sister and I went to the beach to cook dinner, we realized this. We just realized something was off with the door handle, and clearly somebody tried to break in while we were sleeping.
This is supposed to be, so this was just like a little bit more this way, but this side is definitely supposed to be here, and it's supposed to be like, you know,
yeah, it's
straight.
supposed to be just like this one. From now on, won't just choose a random spot on the map and look for reviews. I just think it's safer that way, and if I know that somebody else had a safe night there and had a good experience there, it puts a little bit of trust into where I'm heading.
Time goes on and seasons change. It's these moments that remain, and no matter where I go, I'll always hold them close. It's a long, 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 long and winding road. It's a long, 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 long and winding road.
On top of all that craziness, about 2 days later, I was coming back from work, heading back to the van, and I noticed this guy was walking around the parking lot with a baseball bat in his hand. And he had a mask over his face, but it was covering the entirety of his face, and it was just a black piece of fabric. So I was highly confused. And there was an older guy that was following him saying, "You want to fight? You want to fight?" and directing him towards the alley. I asked people that were standing around the scene what was going on, and they told me that this guy with the baseball bat was walking around downtown just threatening to clock people in the head with the bat. The guy that was following him had seen what was going on and started following him around to try to play hometown hero and protect everybody that was, you know, on the streets or near this guy in general. And all of a sudden I turn around and this woman is pointing in the direction where they're walking, and she's communicating with a cop cruiser. 2 more cop cruisers pull up. One of the cops goes flying out of the cruiser, taking this guy down by the shirt, the one with the baseball bat, and just throwing him on the ground and putting him under arrest. So it was an interesting experience. If there's one thing that I learned during this first week of living full-time in the van, is to put my safety first and to think about where I'm parking a little bit more, read reviews on parking spaces, and really just realize how much of the responsibility of my safety is up to me and my instincts and the areas that I choose to place myself in, just to be a little bit more smart about those types of things. If anybody has any suggestions on what they use and what they think might be helpful for me, please let me know. I would definitely appreciate hearing anybody's feedback.
Shut that door over there.
The light should have gone off.
Your right door ajar.
Whoa.
Just really wanted to get it in there.
We were just talking about Wi-Fi, so we're gonna do a little test run. And we're gonna check out McDonald's, Taco Bell, maybe the library. Oh my god.
Home on wheels.
You could go and get a soda.
And chips and guac.
They have that? Chips and guac?
I think so.
I feel like it would be kind of weird.
Me too.
It doesn't work. Taco Bell's a bust. Whopper Wi-Fi.
Is it Whopper? You got Whopper Wi-Fi?
Ooh. You can online shop at Burger King? That's wild. Wow, they do really good with making you want French fries. Look at this. They're just poking up.
Oh, crispy.
Heat stain removal, baby. Iron, tea cloth. Little wrist action here. Apparently the heat from the iron is supposed to get the moisture out that's trapped in the wood. Go crazy, go stupid. Ooh, 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 ooh. No, I'm kidding. Oh my god. And I got extra into it and I pushed down really hard. And then I freaking removed the cloth and it was gone.